Well, thank you for having me. As we take a look at the destabilization of the Middle East as we currently see with the war in Gaza, as a result of Iran and their increased interest in destabilizing the region, that is something that spills over to the West. That's something that NATO countries are very concerned about. By creating this strategy office in the Middle East, where NATO countries can continue to influence the region and advise on stability. That is a very important and very big concern to the NATO countries. Well, it's very important that these countries have been invited for a variety of reasons. Number one, and the most simplest of reasons, having these countries there is provides a message to enemies of NATO, and enemies of NATO's allies, like the countries that were mentioned, by inviting countries like Iraq, for example, that tells those countries, whether it's Iran or any of the actors related to, that the West and the NATO superpowers are willing to stand by their allies to do whatever it takes to provide stability in the coming weeks, months, and years in the Middle East. There's no question about it that the impact of the war in Gaza is something that destabilizes the region, but also provides instability and concern to NATO and to NATO countries. For them to show the world, to show Iran and their proxies, as well as the rest of the world, that we are paying attention, that we will come and do whatever it takes, is of utmost importance. The United States, sir, and this current administration is going to do everything it can to strengthen Baghdad and to strengthen the country and Iraq. I think that it's clear, and my understanding from the meetings that were had with Secretary Blinken and others, is that there's a great interest to see Baghdad, and the government be secure and strengthened. And I don't see any change coming from this administration on that front. Well, the U.S. feels that this administration feels that strengthening the relationship with Iraq is important. The question, of course, becomes, from my perspective, is can the United States support Iraq by responding to the Iranian influence in Iraq? And that really, I don't believe anything is going to change on that front either. I think that we're going to have to wait and see what happens on November 5th to see if the United States continues down the current trajectory, or will something change. If there's a change in the administration, then you'll see that the relationship with Iraq will ultimately change. But if President Biden, or Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, wins the election, then I believe that there's the United nothing will change, and the United States probably will look at Iraq as a potential buffer, or a diplomatic conduit to Iran. And well, NATO countries are very interested in the stability of the Middle East, and they're going to provide primarily strategic influence and guidance. There and if necessary, they may provide more. NATO is not going to expand its membership into the Middle East. They will do whatever they can to bring stability. So therefore, it doesn't spill over into the West. There's no question that NATO leaders are going to be working very closely with in specific countries and with whatever strategic and support that they can provide to respond to specific situations. I don't believe that it's going to expand to a greater role where we'll see a very large NATO footprint in the Middle East. But it's going to be very strategic, very guided, and focused.